So I feel the need to go off for a bit about why I think it's important to stay insulin sensitive. Even when you're bulking, I think you should stay as sensitive to insulin as possible. Here's why. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone in your body, minus follistatin. Okay, so insulin actually signals your body to uptake nutrients. If you're into fitness or bodybuilding, obviously you want that to work as well as possible. Another thing is that as you become insensitive to insulin, your cognitive performance actually declines as well. And insensitivity to insulin is positively correlated with many different diseases, including the infamous metabolic syndrome. That's what they call it. But what it really is just disease in the body. It's dis-ease. You're putting yourself into a hyperinflammatory state, and you're compromising yourself when you're insensitive to insulin. So even when you're bulking, even when you're eating a lot of food, you should probably do cardio, you should probably get steps, and just animate yourself throughout the course of the day. You'll be helping yourself a lot. You don't want those types of problems. And otherwise, if you become insensitive to insulin, your glycogen is just going to spill over into adipose tissue, fat. So if you want your nutrients to go where you want them to go, be sensitive to insulin. It'll go straight to muscle. So this brings me to another topic, which is IGF-1 signaling and growth hormone signaling, and how these affect the nutrient sensing pathways in the body, AMPK, mTOR, and IGF-1. So your body has a feedback system in place. So when you eat food, there are signals that are sent that tell your body to either shrink or grow. So in the presence of nutrients, mTOR, IGF-1, they're going to be upregulated, and AMPK is going to be downregulated. Conversely, if you're in a fasted state, AMPK will be upregulated, the growth pathways will be downregulated. So if you can time your nutrition and your carbohydrates specifically, if you can time your consumption of them properly, you can stay lean during your entire bulk. You won't go above 15% body fat at very most. And the way that you achieve this is just with simple time-restricted eating. So at the very most, I would eat on a 12-12 schedule. And that gives my body enough time to actually uptake everything that I gave it from the night before. And then when I eat the next day, my body is actually receptive to the nutrition. So I'm not a big fan of the whole idea of being stuffed around the clock. I don't think it's a good idea for health. And I think that the physiques that we build should be useful. You should still resemble a human. You know what I mean? The huge guys, they are impressive, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, that is a ticking time bomb. So this seems like a good time for a fun fact. The reason why being deprived of carbs actually makes sexual dysfunction pop up is because testosterone can only be liberated from the sex hormone binding globulin in the presence of adequate nutrition, specifically glucose. So, yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of people dieting down and they're like, oh man, my dick doesn't work. It's true. It happens that way. Another curious thing that happens in nature is that male rams, their testicles will actually atrophy over the winter. And then when the sun comes out and berries start growing and they start eating that, they'll like triple in size for real. They'll get super aggressive and horny. And that's how important carbs are when it comes to sexual function. So if you do the extra cardio and take the extra steps, you'll probably stay leaner during your bulking phase too, which means less time you have to spend cutting, which is awesome.